Well, you guys, well, some of you guys have asked me to make wrestling videos every single week and all this shit, and I barely touch the subject because I just have such a little interest in the WWE product and just wrestling in general nowadays. I barely even watch WWE compared to years ago when I watched every single waking minute of it. Last night was the 2014 Royal Rumble, and Batista won, and no one was surprised. Now, that's kind of a side story to what the bigger deal was, and that was that Daniel Bryan, the super mega star wrestler right now, the most hyper, there's popular and then there's hyper popular. Daniel Bryan is in that hyper popular status right now. Everyone was like, he's got to be the 30th entrant when they were going through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, blah, 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 up to 29. Everyone was like, Daniel Bryan has to be in the Royal Rumble. There's no fucking way the company is not going to put their biggest top tier wrestler, popular with the audience, over with the crowd, whatever you want to look at it as, in the Royal Rumble. Number 30 hits, and it's Rey Mysterio. And that fucking Pittsburgh crowd boos the fucking shit out of Rey, because they were just so pissed. There was yes chants during the main event. There was boos during the main event. It didn't matter whether it was faces or not. I mean, granted, they wanted Roman Reigns to end up winning, and when it ended up he got tossed out by Batista, they booed the shit out of that. Batista is a face coming into this, and they're booing the shit out of him. He's a guy that left the company for 4 years, came back in, and is automatically just gifted a spot in the main event because he's a little weightlifting buddy with Triple H, and Triple H is calling the shots behind the scenes, and the crowd fucking knows this. So, here's what I have to say. There was a number of things that happened after the main event. Like, I was pissed with you guys too. Like, I barely follow wrestling, but I acknowledge and I know enough, and I follow a few podcasts that talk about the show, so I know enough about the storylines to know what's going on. The fact that Daniel Bryan not only wasn't in the main event, but is not getting a chance to wrestle for the title at WrestleMania, I was like, that is complete and fucking utter bullshit. But then I was like, does WWE seriously not see that? And then a number of things started happening. The one thing that really started getting my mind going about this that was really fishy was right after the event. 2 people started voicing their opinions about it via their Twitter and Facebook profiles. That is Daniel Bryan himself and Mick Foley. Daniel Bryan tweets out, literally minutes after the pay-per-view ends, something along the lines of, thank you for supporting me with the yes chants during the main event. The machine didn't want me to have a spot in the Rumble, and etc., etc. Basically, it's his way of saying that the company was holding him down. The company didn't want him to have a spot in the Royal Rumble. And I'm just like, wait a second. A contracted employee is going to come out and speak out against what the company did. And you guys are going to be like, well, that's his personal Twitter. He can say whatever he wants. Bullshit. No contracted wrestler is going to say something that WWE wouldn't approve of. Bullshit if you think that he just randomly said, I'm going to speak out against the company tonight because they didn't let me wrestle in the Royal Rumble and the crowd was chanting for me, and I want to acknowledge the resistance of the crowd against the WWE's decisions tonight. Get the fuck out of here. Then after that, like I said, the other person was Mick Foley. Mick Foley tweets out something along the lines of, boy, the WWE must really hate their audience. And I'm like, wait a second, this is another contracted employee by the WWE. And then I see Mick Foley's Facebook page has, literally within minutes after the pay-per-view ends, it was like a 5-6 paragraph diatribe, maybe it was like 4 paragraphs, whatever it was. But anyways, it was a long written out diatribe about how pissed he was as a father watching the pay-per-view with his kids, and how messed up it was that Daniel Bryan, the guy is so over, he's not getting his due shot in the company, and blah, blah, blah. It was just this perfectly well-written, well-thought-out, well-polished, and I was like, wait a second. This is coming off as if it was like almost canned, like it was just ready to post, and like I said, it was minutes after the pay-per-view. Now, could Mick Foley have written that within minutes after the pay-per-view? And it absolutely, obviously he's well known with his writing skills with the number of books he's made, so it's, it's possible that he got something that was like perfectly edited, perfectly polished, etc., and posted it within minutes after the pay-per-view ends. But again, he's a contracted employee with the WWE. And he's tweeting out again, maybe the WWE, maybe you'll just hear our voices about this. Folks, this whole thing, in my mind, is so fucking deliberate that the negativity of Daniel Bryan, not only not being in the main event of WrestleMania this year, but not being in the Royal Rumble last night, was deliberate. It's either that or they are that fucking stupid. And I can tell you what, if they're gonna go into to WrestleMania with Randy Orton versus Batista as the main event, and that's how they're gonna end the show in a chorus of boos, because trust me, if that Rumble crowd last night booed the shit out of Batista and he's the face, they're gonna take that into WrestleMania? And it's already established. There's no fucking way they could be like, all right, we gotta make one of these guys' faces. Randy Orton, we'll turn his character. No fucking way. The crowd's not gonna buy that shit. And that crowd in New Orleans is gonna be a smart, educated wrestling crowd. It's not just gonna be the average crowd that just shows up and knows nothing about the storylines or anything like that. And I know you guys might be saying, well, maybe something else will main event then. Undertaker versus whoever he's facing. No fucking way. There's no one that Undertaker could face right now that, other than it being Stone Cold Steve Austin or something like that, and that ain't happening, or Shawn Michaels coming out of retirement, that ain't happening. The main event is going to be the world title match between Randy Orton and Batista, and you gotta be kidding me if you think that WWE consciously, especially coming out of the pay-per-view last night, the Royal Rumble, with the fucking reception Batista got, they're gonna take that into the main fucking event. No fucking way of WrestleMania. No fucking way. I can't believe that. Now, I think they're fucking stupid, and I think the decisions they make lately creatively are fucking just the bottom of the well, tapped out, some of the dumbest fucking shit. But I refuse to believe they're that dumb. They are going to find a way to get Daniel Bryan into that main event of WrestleMania. And it's not going to be a stretch because they've done it before. They've made triple and quadruple threat matches, four-man matches, etc., etc. It doesn't just have to be the winner of the Rumble versus the title holder. Anyways, I wouldn't be surprised if Batista's not in the match at all. They could have a stipulation match like they did with Ken Kennedy where he lost his Money in the Bank briefcase to Edge. They could do something like that. Was it Edge that he lost it to? Yeah, anyway, I'm going back too many years in my mind. Anyway, I don't know. I just saw everything last night is so suspect, and the way people were so fucking upset about what happened in the Royal Rumble and Daniel Bryan not being there, and the fact that WWE employees were feeding into it, like Daniel Bryan and Mick Foley. I'm like, why would they let Daniel Bryan tweet about it? Why? Why would they? Do you seriously think they would let Daniel Bryan tweet about how the machine is holding him down? And then Mick Foley, a contracted employee who everyone, believes, because he's Mick Foley. He's, what he says is gold, and he's a well-respected man in the industry. I don't buy WWE being that dumb. I really don't. If they are, it's fucking shameful. It's fucking shameful. I'll be right there with you guys saying, it's so fucked up that Daniel Bryan didn't get his due just shot at the title to win the title. That would be fucking insane to see nothing but yes chants in the Superdome at the end of the fucking WrestleMania. Oh my God! But who knows? I mean, it's Triple H's little weightlifting buddy coming back. It's like, oh, you've been gone for 4 years. Here's the main event of WrestleMania. If that's seriously what they're doing here, fuck that company. Fuck that company into oblivion. I hope their network fails. I hope they fail. Everything like that. If they're going to disrespect their fucking audience to that level and disrespect someone like Daniel Bryan, just unbelievable. I don't know. I think things last night were very suspect after the pay-per-view. Like, I was pissed at first. I was like, there's no fucking way. How is Daniel Bryan not in the Royal Rumble? How? How is he not going to have a title shot at WrestleMania? How? And I said, it's just the writing is too clear on the wall, and there's no way they cannot hear the audience right now. And if they don't have a plan for Daniel Bryan being the main event of WrestleMania, they better change their fucking plans after last night. Because like I said, Face Batista got booed out of the fucking building for winning the Royal Rumble. It was a fucking train wreck. It was a waste of a pay-per-view. I know, I was talking to some people like I must destroy last night about this on Twitter, going back and forth, and why, waste an entire pay-per-view, for just the benefit of the storyline of one guy, and just, make the whole pay-per-view have a bad taste. And I'm like, what, they really don't care about pay-per-view revenue anymore, because they got this WWE network that they're banking on. They're probably going to lose a lot of their contracts with people like DirecTV that have already said they're so angry that they're giving pay-per-views away for $10 a month, and DirecTV is going to be like, well, fuck you, Vince McMahon, we're not even going to carry your pay-per-views anymore. They really don't care about pay-per-view revenue. It's not like, they have to have a gem of a show every single time for pay-per-view. I don't know, I just kind of got that in my mind the second they had this network thing. And I really think they're going to stock up on WrestleMania, because this is the first pay-per-view they're having live on that WWE network. And they're going to want to make a fucking big stamp of fucking approval on it. That does something that's like, wow, giving the audience what the fuck they want. And another thing about last night, the Royal Rumble, the fact that everyone is so vehemently disgusted that Daniel Bryan isn't there, that Batista is getting handed a spot at the top after just taking his ball and going home for 4 years, it's going to make a win by Daniel Bryan that much more epic at WrestleMania, because no one's expecting it now, and people are pissed that he's not getting it. If people have that in their minds and he ends up getting a title shot, ends up winning at WrestleMania, it's going to be that much more fucking epic. But are they dumb enough to stick with the main event as it is now of Randy Orton and Batista? I can tell you what, I've never been interested in Raw lately. I'd be curious to see what type of heat they're going to get showing a segment between Batista and Randy Orton. Because it's going to get booed out of the fucking building, and it should. It should. There should be nothing but yes chants during it. Yes chants and boos. Anyway, I don't know. I think things are just very suspect with how they shook down last night, and I just wanted to put like my predictions and thoughts and everything and blah blah blah. Talked long enough. Everyone have a good day, a better tomorrow. And WWE, please don't be that fucking stupid and stick with the main event as it is. But you know what? When have they really listened to us? Fuck it. Have a good day, everyone.